was a boy and girl. Boy said, I love you so. Girl said, I'll never leave you. They grew older and loved each other, 'cause that's the way love goes. That's the way love goes. Yeah. Sometimes that's the way love goes. And that artist, of course, is a friend of Voices of Change. It's Dante Hall. Hello, beautiful people. Good evening and welcome to Intellectual Radio's Voices of Change. My name is Janice and I'll be your host this evening. I have a special guest. Now, let me tell you, I've been doing StreamYard for, I don't know, maybe a year or 2 years. And there was one function on it that I could not figure out to save my life. So before I talk to this guest that I'm going to bring on later on, I said, are you familiar with StreamYard? And she goes, oh, a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So when I finally met her, my first time meeting her, beautiful lady, you'll see. When I first met her, she got on and we introduced ourselves and the function I've been trying to do. She said, do you know how to do that? I said, no, but I've been trying to do it. She goes, well, I like to tinker around. Do you know she found the answer and actually did it in about 10 seconds? Even though it's not quite working on my computer, but there's a resource issue, but that's okay. This lady is phenomenal. She is just, when you say, I'm every woman, this is her. Her name is Jaime Gill, and she's the author of, I believe, the #1 seller on Amazon. She's coming on shortly, and I'm going to tell you more about her. But everybody knows what today is, and anybody who's on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram know that, man, it's been Greek after Greek after Greek after Greek celebrating Founders Day. And we're so happy for him, particularly the one yesterday, not to be a little partial. But today, we celebrate Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Day honors the life of a fighter for racial justice and equality. It celebrates a dream that we're still fighting. We're still fighting this dream, even though that's been how many years ago? A dream for equality, a colorblind society. But perhaps Dr. King was speaking metaphorically. Perhaps his dream was to have us stop and think. Perhaps it wasn't so much about a dream, but about coming to terms with the widespread poverty, coming to terms with the huge wealth gap, coming to terms with systemic racism, coming to terms with white privilege, coming to terms with homophobia, coming to terms with inequity seen in every facet of the Black man's life, coming to terms with unnecessary wars, coming to terms with the inequities that caused the garbage men in Memphis to protest before his demise. King was a change agent, and in doing so, he made enemies. Many of us felt, many of the people then, many Black people then felt he was a troublemaker because he was creating change. Change is always trouble, but it's good trouble. The legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as he stated himself, was to say no to a culture of death and yes to a complete transformation of culture to protect and nourish every community and every person. Happy birthday to Dr. Martin Luther King. Anyone who watches the show know I always start out with the scripture for today in light of celebrating King. It's going to be about freedom. And it goes, for freedom Christ set us free. Stand firm then, and don't submit again to a yoke of slavery. I wonder what the thought pattern was when writing this. When you think about biblical times and you think about the scripture and you read it, you fast forward hundreds and thousands of years and you read it and it's applicable. It's awesome. Anyway, now we're going to talk about, let me see if I have any, if you guys are there, give me some comments, say hello. Say hello to the guest that I'm about to bring on. I'm going to read her bio and bring her on. So if you are listening and on, please give me a comment. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jaime Gill. She has a long, she's a phenomenal lady. So of course she has a long biography, but I'm going to just, put on these specs and start the reading. Miss Jaime A. Gill is a certified life coach, author, and self-reflection enthusiast.
She is a sought-after speaker that leads workshops on personal development and leadership. She strives to deliver a message that will activate others to live their best life now. Jaime is the author of Lessons for the Little Girl and Lessons for the Little Boy. This series is her hope to encourage women and men to willingly risk introspection for transformation and elevation. Her work as an author has been featured on WGN and Chicago Channel 26 WCIU. Though her presence in the compilation book Sisterhood, Journeys of Women in Entrepreneurship, Ms. Gill provides perspective in the power of pursuing your unique path to entrepreneurship. With over 25 years of media experience, Jaime has produced content for local and international broadcasts, including where she began as an intern, NBC Chicago. She has been honored to produce for the American Cancer Society, History Makers, the Illinois Black Hall of Fame, celebrity financial coach Lynn Richardson, media mogul Russell Simmons, and philanthropist and music legend MC Light. Through her Chicago-based radio show, the LOVE, Love Perspective, love being the acronym of Lives of Vision and Empowerment, Jaime and co-host Alicia Bowens shared guests and topics to help their national listeners to live on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. For her commitment to excellence in media and technology, she just showed me that, Ms. Gill was recognized by the top ladies of distinction, Lincoln Park Chicago chapter, with the Crown Jewel Award. Ms. Gill believes that service is a necessary ingredient to a successful life. Once a victim, now a thriver. Jaime volunteers to empower other victims of sexual assault by partnering with organizations to shatter the silence and erase the ignorance of sexual violence. She was recognized by Jack and Jill of America, Inc., South Suburban Chapter, for her efforts to educate communities and empower victims. She was also featured on the cover of Well, WELL, magazine, as she shares her story of survival to triumph. Through her life and commitment to serving others, Jaime was recognized as one of the inaugural women to be recognized by the Chi Lambda chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc., as a woman of distinction. Her life of service began at a very early age and even awarded her the opportunity to be on the cover of Guidepost for Teen magazine with a featured article on her annual commitment to the Angel Tree program. Jaime Gill currently resides in Daytona Beach, Florida, where she enjoys a career in the emergency room as a consumer access specialist, providing quality service and support to patients and families in their most vulnerable times of life. Jaime's name in French literally means to love, which is what she hopes to project through her life works. Help me welcome to the Voices of Change, the phenomenal Jaime Gill.
Hello. Hello. I can't listen to my bio. I get so teary-eyed.
People, you know what I used to do? I used to have people there. We'd be side by side, and they, oh my gosh, they were like, no, bring me out.
No, because I'm a total wreck.
Can you believe, when you listen to all that, can you believe all that?
No. Like, number one, I don't feel like I'm that old to have done all of this.
You don't have to be that old to have done all that. I mean, you could have, done it in a small frame.
It leaves me in awe of God. Like, I really, when I look over my life, when they say when I look back over my life,
yeah, that song,
things over. Wow, I can truly say that I've been blessed. I really do have a testimony, and I'm not trying to be cliche by any means, but God has been very faithful to me, and I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
Oh, good. I've heard a lot about you. We both have a mutual friend, and he talks about his authors, and and I'm like, okay, but I thought you were in Chicago, and
I am, but not anymore. When you have older parents that want to live in sunshine, you go where they need you to be, because they went where you needed them to be when you were younger. So,
that's so nice.
Yeah, it's my honor, and it was truly a God thing. My mom woke up one day 5 years ago and was like, "Why are we here?" And I just took some NyQuil, so I didn't know if she meant, like spiritually, like on the earth.
Right.
What you're saying. And she was ready to leave Chicago. And in 2 months, I picked up our entire life. It was the craziest, most expensive thing I've ever done in my life.
How do you like living there?
Daytona's different, and I'm still learning. Even after 5 years, the first 3 years, I was helping to not only, get my mom adjusted, but my father was on what I call the hospital tour at the time.
Okay.
And I didn't realize it was going to be the last 2 years of my daddy's life. And so I'm grateful for my mom's question, because it allowed me to be very present in the last 2 years of my daddy's life. And so that making somebody was part of the reason I moved here. And so that reason is now gone. But I love the weather, and I love being 10 minutes from the ocean. And so those things are great, but just socially, I'm still trying to figure it out. Daytona's a lot different than some of the bigger cities like Miami or Tampa. Mm-hmm. And so I'm finding my way. I'll say it like that. I'm finding my way.
Good. And you probably come back and visit here all the time, right?
All the time. I'm looking for you to come back next month. I'm like, Glenn, don't we need to have a meeting or something?
Any reason, right? Any reason.
Yeah. I got a coat. I keep a coat. It's okay.
Have you guys gotten snow there yet? Like Georgia's getting snow?
No, not. Thank God. We had a tornado warning this morning, though, and our power went out and the winds were horrible, but thank God it was no snow.
Mm-hmm. Wow. These tornadoes are getting horrific there.
Yeah. Global warming is real.
And they talked about Gore all those years ago. I remember when he was talking about it, and it's like, what is he talking about? And I said, But I didn't think it was a joke. But yeah, he was way ahead of his time. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, in reading your bio, one of the things that I noticed was that you had a title of something that I didn't know what it was. So,
yes, ma'am.
Don't mind explaining. What is a self-reflection therapist?
A self-reflection enthusiast is truly just a person who's enthusiastic about self-reflection. I literally live, eat, and breathe everything self-reflection. I believe that 98% of the problems in the world are because people have issues internally. And so they just spew their ugliness out into the world, and we see it in forms of, we talked about Dr. King today. We see it in forms of racism and hatred and bigotry and prejudice. But if we really took the time to do the internal work, why do I not like people that don't look like me? Why do I have such anger when this situation or that situation happens? If we truly did the internal work, then we can truly be a better projection externally. I have an acronym that I live by, and it's called IWRITE, WRITE, and that's willingly risking introspection for transformation and elevation. And I believe
that. Would you repeat that? What the acronym is?
Yeah, willingly risking, because it's a risk to do introspection, because you don't know what you're gonna find.
That's true.
We press stuff down for so many years that we don't always know what we're gonna find once we go digging. So willingly, because it has to be something that you're willing to do. Okay. Willingly risking introspection or transformation, because you want it to be a change. You just don't want to go find out what's down there and then come back up the same person.
Right.
For transformation and then elevation. I truly believe you can't go to the next level until there's been a transformation. And we can talk about that in any area of our lives, whether it's fitness or finance, whether it's relationship. Until there's been a changing of mind, a true transformation, then you can go to the next level, but you won't stay there.
That's true.
So I want to help people get to the next level and be able to maintain and stay there by dealing with those things. And sometimes it's just very basic stuff like, I don't like authority. Why not? I didn't have good parents or whatever the case. And so let's deal with that. And sometimes it's some deeper things. It's some self-esteem issues. It's some trauma that occurred. It's a series of things that people go through. And so I like to help through the process of journaling. I don't believe I have all the answers. I've never been that girl.
Okay.
But I believe that the answers are within you, and that God will show you what they are as you begin to get closer to Him by journaling through your own processes of life. So I believe we have more power than we activate. And I just want to help people to live in that. So,
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a self-reflection enthusiast. I like that. Do you do
I
like
had a degree in it, but
I wish I would have had a degree in it, right?
Oh,
A lot of people, I'm
Yes,
waiting for my comments, folks. If you're listening and tuning in, say hello, give me a comment, say something. We have Miss Jaime Gill on here today, and she's given us some nuggets. She already gave me an acronym that I wrote down. I'm gonna have to steal that and say I got it from. I'll cite you. I got it.
You will. Okay, cool. Okay. It's on my website. It's on my website if you need a reference. It's on my website. And through my website, I'm going to be doing blogs that help people do that. Everyone doesn't know how to do self-reflection. And sometimes it's just easy by asking somebody, and I'll do it with you. Ready?
Yeah.
Who are you?
My name?
Whatever you want to answer. If you hear that question, who are you?
And I think about my name, Janice O'Gray. That's what I think about.
And what is your name speak?
I'm sorry, what is my name?
Oh, you broke up. What does your name speak? What does your name mean to you? What does that name speak of?
Family. That's all, family.
And so it's yeah. And so you think about it. Like when I think about my name, Jaime A. Gill, Jamie Arlene Gill, very specifically, I'm named after James Arthur Smith. And I come from a lineages of Jameses. My grandfather's James Arthur Smith. My uncle's James Arthur Smith Jr. My cousin's Jimmy A. Smith III. My mother's Janice Arlene.
Janice!
That's why when I met you, I was like, woman from my own heart.
Oh, your mom is dead, Janice. Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm Jamie Arlene. So when I hear my name, when people ask me who am I, and I say my name, I immediately think about my grandfather. I immediately think about my mother, because those are people who, and then I think about my father, of course, because that's where the Gill comes from.
Right.
So I just think about those three people immediately. I think about their attributes, things I admire about them, their strengths, the things that they taught me, things that they instilled in me. And then that then takes me onto a journey of things that they had gone through. What did they do for their life? Where are they lead? What did they want for me? What were their dreams for me? What were they trying to show me? And so just by asking the simple question of who are you can literally help people begin to do the very first steps of self-reflection. For some people, they don't know who they are. Some people immediately go to their career, where I'm a doctor, or I'm
some people,
or some people, you're a woman of the lovely Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So you'll say, I'm an AKA. The ladies today will say I'm a Dove. I'm a Z5B. The Deltas would have said, or the Sigma Gamma. So people sometimes immediately go to their affiliations. Well, if you take the affiliations away,
right,
take your degrees away,
right,
take your job away, who are you?
Right, who are you?
Bare bone and naked. Who are you? And what are the things that you love and dislike, and things that move you? And when I turned 40, I was watching my father die on my 40th birthday.
Was he literally dying, or was he just sick?
Yeah. Oh. No, he was dying. He had actively put himself in hospice, and while he was still talking, at that time he wasn't talking anymore, but he told me that he wouldn't leave me on my birthday. And I said, well, Daddy, since you making promises, we had a very friendly, funny relationship. I said, well, since you're making promises, you're not going to leave me on my birthday. Well, then I really like the whole month of July. So just, but if you have to, I will understand. But, if you want, you can just wait, And that was my way of asking for more time.
Right.
And he gave me the whole month of July.
He did?
He passed August 2nd at 5:00 a.m. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so every year, like the weekend of my birthday, in what I call his eternity anniversary, the day he entered eternity, I will spend a day at the hotel, or the weekend at a hotel by the ocean, just so I can be next to something that's bigger than both of us. Mm-hmm. And because when I turned 30, here's something funny. When I turned 30, I immediately said, I can't wait till I turn 40.
Really?
I heard amazing things about being 40. Oh, when you're 40, your mind's so clear. You don't care about what other people think. So I wasn't excited about 30. Yes, I was happy I was no longer 20 anything, but I just was like, I can't wait till I get past this decade so I could be 40. And then on my 40th birthday, I was watching my father die, and I said, And this is why God says, be anxious for nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Because here I was so eager to turn 40, and now at 42, but now at 40, I was thinking at that moment I wouldn't want to be here at all. Not at all, because now turning 40 will always be a reminder.
You think about what happened to your dad. His transition.
Yep. And so that's why being a self-reflection enthusiast is so important to me, because it helps me to get to the bare bones of who I am, what I want for my life. My life looks completely different than I thought it would be at 42, but it is a place of peace. It is a place of clarity like never before.
That's beautiful.
Man, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. God, I saw come when you were reading my bio, I was like, oh my gosh.
Everyone says that. They're like, that's me.
Yeah.
You are. When I read it, I was like, wow, she's done all that. Oh no, don't let us freeze up. No. Oh, I thought you were freezing for a minute.
Okay.
You're my sister in radio. Tell me a little bit about your show, your radio show.
The Love Perspective. Oh, this is actually perfect timing. We're actually coming back to podcast format. We ended our show right before I moved here. So The Love Perspective was literally almost like a random start. It was a random thing. My co-host Alicia Bowens and I, she had an opportunity to fill in for a friend of ours. The lady was going to be out. And she was like, hey, you want to do a radio show with me? And I was like, okay, which was funny because Alicia, I'm 5'10", almost 5'11". Alicia's like 5'4". I tell you, we're opposite in every way. Height, she is very business minded, very quiet spirit. I'm like, hey, I'm the girl with you.
Oh my.
We're opposites on every realm, right? So this lady had presented Alicia with the opportunity to cover for her at the radio show. And she's like, I don't know about this. This is your area, so you want to do it with me? And I was like, okay. And I love telling this story. In 24 hours, listen to this. Don't tell me what God can't do. In 24 hours, Alicia and I came up with the name of a show. We created a logo, a website, and had a full photo shoot.
In 24 hours?
24 hours. We stayed up all night. I had a friend of mine that was a photographer. I was working at New Faith Baptist Church International at the time as a television producer. So I took one of the Sunday school classrooms and we did our photo shoot in there. We left there, went to Alicia's house, did all of the technology stuff to have it set. So we went and did the show and people loved it. And we were like, for real? Like, really?
I love that.
We just made this up last night. But the show was, and I'm not saying it because I'm a part, the show was so good that it just ended up being something that lasted. It went from being on 102.3.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went to internet radio, which was UMI radio station.
Yeah.
And then we came off, and now we're actually coming back. I can't reveal the date yet because Alicia will beat me. I can't reveal, but I'll just say soon. We're coming back soon. We actually talked today, but we'll be coming back in a podcast format just so that we can have a bigger range of audience. But we're very excited. And so the Love Perspective literally lives up to its name: lives of vision and empowerment. We want people to have a life that they love. We want people to love their perspective of their life. And so we talked about everything from relationships from a man's point of view. This was one of my favorite shows. We had a show of women inventors that came on. Another show that touches my heart. We had a young lady who created an organization for the family members of individuals who committed suicide. And it was for those left behind. And so through the arts, from drama, painting, crafts, she created this beautiful organization to help people. And her father, they had just came back from a family vacation, and her father, who was a doctor, committed suicide by carbon monoxide in their car, in their garage. And to see this young woman, very young lady, talking with such strength and such passion, and how they help people with counseling and giving them resources to be able to deal with the loss that will be forever. And it's because there's so many questions usually when people commit suicide of what happened. And so the Love Perspective just created a platform to be able to connect people with topics that they had always wanted to express, or to, give them a platform to express, and to resources. Most importantly, we wanted people to walk away with tangible things every show that they could do to make their lives better. So if it was struggling with their finances, here are the tips. This is what you need to do. Here's a credit counselor if that's what you're looking to do. If it was grief, you lost someone, here are some resources for you. And so
it's a good idea.
We love life, and we want other people to be able to love their life as well. And so we want to impact them by giving them the necessary tips. So we're coming back.
Once you get back, please let me know when you get back.
I promise we're going to have you on the show.
Please let me know. Absolutely.
Wasn't ready for that. Hey, is that my publisher, Glenn Murray, on there?
I think there's Glenn. Hey, Glenn. We also have Kenyatta Williams Ross.
Hi, Kenyatta.
She's on too, and we want to give a shout out to her. If you're on, give us a comment. Let us know. The guest today is a phenomenal Jaime Gill. This girl is something. This young lady's something else. Won't call you a girl. Okay, so you're also
like it.
You like girl too?
Okay. That's for the little girl.
That's right, little girl. Speaking of books, that's a great segue. You're also an author, which I was like, okay. So tell me about the little. I have never read it, so tell me about the little.
Okay. So here, this is what's funny. A lot of things that happen in my life, I say is a fluke or random, but it's really not. It's all God destined. Nice. And so, Lessons for the Little Girl, and people don't believe this, but I have it at home somewhere, was my journal. I have always been an avid journaler. Like I always have, write on piece of papers, napkins. If you come to my house now, you will find a collection of notebooks of all shapes, sizes, colors, and textures. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I like paper and the texture. So like, ooh, this will be really good for this, and ooh, this will be really good for that. So I was writing in my journal, and at the time I was asked to speak at this global youth conference on the East Coast by a pastor at a women's conference that I was working. And I was like, man, I would really like to be able to have a resource for these young people. And I don't know. And I was at home in my journal, and I just happened to look, and I started to flip. I said, this should be a book. Like, it was just like this random idea, right?
Right.
And so I had the Love Perspective radio show at the time. And Alicia and I both had Glenn as a Facebook friend. Neither one of us knew him. He was a Facebook friend. So we had this really great idea to have the publisher guy. That's what we call it.
Right.
The publisher guy on the show. Since we know so many people that want to write books, including ourselves at the time. So we invited the publisher guy to the show. And he did a great job. And the whole time, I just feel the Holy Spirit saying, tell him about your book. Tell him about your book. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, nope, I'm not. And he's like, they're like, it's just the whole show nagging me. I happen to have, now every radio show, I didn't have a photographer or anything at the show, because this was before, all of the take pictures of every moment of your life.
Right.
Now, right. So, but that particular show, I happened to have a very good friend of mine, Miss Raquel Brown, was there from Rock Dreams Entertainment. She was starting her photography career. So she came in to take some shots of us on the show. And so this is what I tell you, when you just do what God tell you to do.
That's right.
There's a picture of me and Glenn in the hallway. And I was like, hey, I got this idea. And Raquel happened to be there to capture this moment. And so I'm telling Glenn about this book, this idea. And Glenn says, send it to me. And I'm like, no, you don't have to say that, because I had you on my show. Like, that's
right.
nice. Like, I'm just, just kind of throwing it out. So a lady that I know had me do it on lulu.com and create this, but it just wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. It just didn't. So I sent Glenn the book. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to cost $7 million to get this book published. I don't even know what I was thinking. He's going to hate it. He's going to think I'm stupid. Well, little did I know, not only did Glenn take it from me, but he shared the book with some other people. And the feedback was absolutely phenomenal. And 220 Publishing published the book, and that was in 2014.
Wow.
So this is my first baby that I'm so proud of. And Lessons for the Little Girl is a book of self-reflection. I literally share moments or lessons that I learned as a little girl. Yeah. And then I ask you a question and I give you an opportunity to journal. And the reason that I created it in this format is because if you ripped out every page of my words, you will find the power in your own writing. And that's why I created it in this format, because I wanted women and young girls, because probably starting at the age of 11, because this one is real light. It's real light. I want you to recognize that there are some things that you're going to go through in your life, but you can get through them. And everything doesn't have to be bad. Like one of my favorite chapters in here is about creating your own space. It's just about wherever you are, whether you have a mansion of a home or you have a studio apartment, and you're in there with 6 people. Right. Find a space within that space to be able to clear your mind, to recognize who you are. And so this is just helping women and young girls to recognize, because we're so busy getting a man, getting some kids, getting a title, getting in a sorority, getting. We forget to be. So this book is just a huge mirror to allow women to know that it is okay with you just being who you are. That's it. Just be. So that's my first baby. I will forever and always choose this book.
Have you tried to push that in the school systems, like for middle school and stuff? It seems like it would be really good for those kids.
So let me tell you this funny story. Yes, I have. And I actually was able to talk a couple of schools. Actually, a copy of this is at home with Flossmoor High School in the library. Somebody stole a copy. It's so funny.
Well, that's good, kind of.
Stole a copy. High School. But it was there. I have a lot of amazing friends that are educators. I spoke at University of Illinois in Chicago at a mentoring program. So I did do some work with them for a few years in a row. I'm working on getting in a partnership with Girl Scouts for America, because I'm a former Girl Scout. And so I want to be able to do some things to earn a badge, mm-hmm. Left a little girl. So I have, even though she came out in 2014, I still have big dreams for her, because this is such a necessary book. I believe, and I'm not trying to be biased, but I think it's such a necessary book in your development to be able to help you be able to recognize that in all you're getting, don't lose yourself in the midst of that. And it really came out of a concept that when I was in college, I used to put a picture of my younger self by my wall when I was in college. And I would wake up, especially when I was having very tough mornings, and I would say, "Where are you? Like, where are you, little girl? Like, where are you? Where's that little girl? Where are you, little girl?" And so that's why I don't take the term little girl as a derogatory.
Some people do, though, so I'm glad you told me that.
I know, yeah, I don't. Number one, my mama still calls me that today. She'd be like, "Little girl, come here." So it's a term of endearment for me. Well, and then it depends on who says it in the tone. But
if Janice says it, it's definitely going to be.
If Janice says it, it's all in love. Yeah. But I literally began to lose myself in college. And that picture of me as a little girl standing with my pigeon-toed self in this cotillion dress I had on my patio helped me to get centered. And so I often say, and you'll see in the book, that I call the little girl your essence, your core, your root. But I believe that God uses that little girl or little boy inside of us, hence Lessons for Little Boy, right. To be able to help us in the midst of aging, growing, being responsible, having responsibilities, that you do not lose your assignment. You don't lose who I created you to be, that fearlessness, that curiosity, that initial instinct. Children have amazing instinct. And if you watch a child, they will start crying when certain people come around. They won't go to certain people. They'll look at certain people with the discerning eye. Children are very instinctual, and we lose that as we get older. And so I'm just trying to help to reroute people back to their initial selves, essentially. So
this is really interesting, because I have a sister who just got this mentoring program. The scope of it's pretty big, for young girls and boys starting in 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And as you were going through that, we were brainstorming the other day, thinking about things for them and incentives for them. I think I'm gonna connect you two together, because maybe some of those books for those girls would be fabulous. I think it would. Matter of fact, I'd like a book.
I will gift you a book. How about that, Miss Janice?
I will hold you to it.
I will sign it and I will send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everyone says journaling. What about vision boards? Do you do that too?
I do. I couldn't even tell my business on this show, but I have not done a vision board in like 3 years, and I feel so bad. And I feel like that's why my visions have not come to life, because I'm a huge vision boarder. Okay. I cry. Because I'm not one of those women who just put all the typical stuff. I'll tell you something I haven't shared with many people, but I'm gonna manifest it this year. Okay.
I'm
gonna put on a show. I have on the last vision board that I did. There was the word Dove. It was a picture of Dove. Dove products.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I had a picture of Dove on there?
I don't know.
Dove has a campaign about beauty inside out.
Okay.
Lessons for the little boy and lessons for the little girl. Beauty. I want copies of the book to literally be able to be accompanied with their products as people are cleansing their bodies. Because I have a chapter very specifically in Lessons for the Little Girl where I talk about my tub time and how I used to have more toys in the tub than soap. But I talked about how that was necessary self-care, how my girl tried to instill that into me as a little girl, that I want to be able to partner with Dove in their campaign of helping people to recognize that they are beautiful and self-care and take care of themselves. So I'm putting that out in the atmosphere because that's been on that's been on my vision board, if I'm honest, probably for the past 6 or 7 years. Just something that I wanted to do, but I haven't moved on it because I'm like, what are they gonna say or how are they gonna do? But I'm gonna do it this year. So
it's done.
There you go.
Move on it like really soon, like in the next couple weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone's asking a good question, and I was going to ask you, but thank you. Where can the book be purchased?
So, all of my books, praise the Lord, are available on Amazon.com, or they can go to my website, JaimeAGill.com, and literally, you can send me a message there. I will send all of the books to you, or you can purchase them. Actually, they're sold everywhere books are sold. Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. What's the other one? Booksamillion.com, Walmart.com. So if you're a Walmart shopper,
oh, good.
Yeah, 220 don't
play. Wow, you're welcome.
Yeah, Target used to it used to be on Target, but something's going on with Target website because I know I have a lot of Target shoppers out there too. So our books used to be on Target as well, but Walmart, Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, and then of course Amazon with everybody's Prime memberships. You can get it in just a couple of days. But if you want me to sign it, just send me a message on my website and I'll get it, and then I will make sure that you get your copies too. So.
That is good. That's good stuff. Now, the girls, thank you so much. And I'm going to get my girls' book. Did everyone hear that? She's getting me a girls' book. And I'm going to connect her with Cynthia. Cynthia, are you listening? Anyway, I don't know if she is. Okay. Tell me about the little boys. I was a little bit, okay. So it sounds to me like 13 men, 13 guys. And yes. You're the one. Okay. Tell me about and I know a lot of them. Tell me about the little boys.
So this is what's funny. I love telling this story too. Lessons for the Little Boy became even an idea because I was at a function at a comedy show selling Lessons for the Little Girl. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman, Mr. Floyd Wilson, walked up to me and said, I said, okay, sir, who would you like for me to make this out to? Would you, your daughter, your wife? He was like, no, this is for me. He says, if you've given something for women, I know there's something men can learn from it too.
He's a smart man.
Never did that even enter my brain.
He's a smart man. Think about it.
Oh my God. I was on the phone immediately with Glenn and all of 220. We got to get Lessons for the Little Boy out tomorrow. We got to get it out. We got to get it. They're like, slow down, Jamie. This book just came out. Let's talk this, that. I'm like, no, we have to write this book right now. 6 years later, here we are.
6 years? Yeah, I guess so.
6 years later. And when I tell you it was worth the wait. This was the longest pregnancy of my life.
You had that baby and it blew up. Tell us about it.
Like, I'm still amazed. So one of my favorite questions is, you're a woman. How can you write a book for men? I can't. That's why I went and got 13 men.
13 men, right.
And these men age from the range of 22 to 60 something. And they are absolutely phenomenal. Where my voice and presence comes in the book is I create the platform. I talk about a very vulnerable time where I had a very passionate interaction with my father. And I opened up the discussion for my father to be able to um, be vulnerable. As soon as he entered that door, I attacked him. We not how dare you? What about me? What about me? What about me? And I recognized in the midst, like God did something where He allowed me to hear myself and to see my father's face all at the same time. And I said, "Ooh, how dare I invite my father into this space to be honest and open and then attack him?" It was
Right.
almost like I bum rushed him. And I recognize that sometimes as women that we can be unfair to men because we expect them to have it together, have the answers. My father was still a human being. Just because he was also a dad,
Right.
that didn't mean that he had all of these, life answers of, I wanted him to be present, even though him and my mom were divorced, and I wanted him to be able to fight for us. How come you didn't fight for custody? And why didn't you do this? And why did you do this? That I had to stop and listen to where he was at that time of his life, listen to his perspective. My father is one of the most non-confrontational people you could have ever met on the planet. Like he just was not that guy. He just was like, and my mom is a powerhouse. She's a Janice. She's a Janice. And so and not that I think that my mom made it more difficult for my father. I just know that my father was not he was not very good at speaking about what he wanted up front, what he desired. And so it wasn't that mommy was right and daddy was wrong, or daddy was right and mommy was wrong. I just began to realize that my parents were human.
Right.
And more importantly, that in this, for the sake of what we're discussing about, like my father was human and he had some shortcomings and he made some mistakes. And so I shared that experience of that day with my father. And then these 13 men do an absolutely beautiful job of sharing some very vulnerable spaces in their life about how their father wasn't there, or their father told them they were going to be no good, or Glenn, I love his story about how the loss of his mother and how he as a man then becomes a caretaker. Because when you talk about caretakers, you often don't think about men.
Right.
But there are, and with me now working at a hospital, I see it often that men are caretakers and having to the person who gave them life, they are now walking them out of life. They're escorting them through their last transitions. And the spaces where people are talking about being, I have one chapter in here from Fred Arnold, and he talks about being a girl dad and has he equipped his daughters and how he leaves every day. Has he prepared them for the world to know that they're still beautiful despite what the world presents. And I mean, there's so many stories in here. I can go on and on about these amazing men about, and they trusted me to be able to share this with the world. And I will forever be honored because of it. Because the stories are powerful. They are truly powerful. They leave me in awe. And trying to put the book together, there were many days that I would literally just print their manuscripts out and lay them on my bed and be like, God, what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah, I was wondering, how did you put all that together?
It put itself together.
Wow.
And I know that sounds real mystical, and
not necessarily.
I promise you, it put itself together. I literally would it was a ritual. I would lay their manuscripts out on my bed and I would just be sitting there and I would be looking at them and I would pick up one and I would say, well, this one goes here and this one goes there. It was like a puzzle. And I would and after I would read the last sentence of one author's and I would read the first sentence of the next one. And if it didn't feel like it flowed to me, I would change it. And I literally just began to move the pieces around until it was like, this is it. And there was a couple authors who gave me so much, like their chapters are almost books within themselves. And I was going to cut it because I have plans to do some other things with this book to kind of expand this book.
Right.
It's more than a book, it's a movement, truly. And I was going to cut it. Like, I'm going to cut these 3 sections and I'm going to put it in this other project. And I was like, nope. He's going to be the closer. He's going to do, and it really did. It showed me where it needed to go. And these men never talked. Like, it was not like we had gatherings and group sessions and say, okay, I want you to talk about this and talk about this.
So they all did it independently? Was it redundancy in it though? I mean, did some of them tell the same stories?
Nope. Now there you may find themes because we all have how to overcome something. That's a pretty general thing. Right. But no, there is not any sense. There was only one person I gave an assignment, only one. And I told the girl dad, I wanted him to talk about being a father of all girls. He was the only person given an assignment. But everybody else, I said, write what your heart tells you to share. Because here's an even funnier tidbit that a lot of people didn't know. There are 4 men in this book that I've never met ever in life.
Really? Okay.
I've never met them in person. Let me say that. It's like I'm meeting you virtually. Right. That's how we met. We had connections via Glenn. Glenn. And Glenn knows some good people, so you got to stay close. But they literally, it was either from being on live at the man cave and watching people's comments, being on a clubhouse. My brother Lionel, who actually lives in Florida with me as well. Nice. He was in a clubhouse room, and I just loved what he had to say. And I was like, I got a random question. Would you like to be in this book that I'm writing? And everybody said yes. There was no questions. They don't know anything about me. They were just like, sure. Okay. All right. They like the concept of what at all. But they say spirit, no spirit. So I guess my spirit was good enough.
Spirit does no spirit. That's right. You've answered all my questions about the little boy. How did you do that? Okay. You've answered, you've kind of in our conversation. And I also noticed Cynthia's here. Cynthia, I hope you were here in the beginning. If you weren't, I'm going to fill you in. Jaime Gill, man, this, as you can see since you've been here, if you're just getting in, man, the books that she's done, I've got to tell you about this book that I'm thinking about. Anyway, I'll connect you to. The next question is, and I love how I'm bouncing around. I love how your love show, I love how you said it's connecting resources. Mm-hmm. I think that's really good.
Because how do you know how to do something that you don't know how to do?
Right. And nobody knows how to do everything. You know what I mean? So everybody needs resources. And people are always asking. They're always asking. That's good.
That's right.
Have the men given you feedback? Okay, so since you took these 13 guys and laid the manuscripts and put it all together, and when they read the book, what did they think about it? What was their reaction?
I'm still getting feedback from them. And I'm trying really not to get emotional because so sometimes when you have an idea or God tells you to do something, you're like, okay, but you don't really know the impact that it's going to have. Sure. Some of these men have shared and will share that they were going through very difficult divorces at the time that I asked them to write this book. And so I didn't know that. I told you I didn't know half these people that are in the book. And for them to be able to express kind of their journey through pain and grief of a marriage.
Did they talk about that?
Yes. Not only in the book, but then they shared it with me afterwards. And they thanked me for giving them this one man. And I won't say who it is because I want him to be able to express it in his most perfect way.
I got to interview him then. No, I'm just
I was going to say that. Like, he literally sent me a message and told me that it changed the trajectory of what he thought God was able to do in his life. What? Like me? Because asking somebody to be an author, some people have dreams of being an author, and just very honestly, some people don't. And right. There's a population of people who believe that they have nothing of value to say, or who's going to listen to me, or who wants to read what I've been through, or so what. But the reality is, Glenn says the men are available for interview.
Except him. What is that?
Do them first. How about that?
I agree.
I'm like, wait a minute. But for men to be able to see themselves in another, like, I was raised by strong men. I was. My dad, my granddad, my grandfather, my granddad, both my grandfathers. Well, actually, all three of my grandfathers, I have three grandfathers. My godfather, just strong men. So when I think of men, strength is one of the first words that come to mind.
Mine too, right?
Just strong, right? And sometimes that's not just physically; they can lift the heavy thing in the house, but just you think they're mentally strong, you think they're emotionally strong, when that's not always the case. And so for him to be able to see himself differently, or another young man that's in the book, to be able to see himself be able to truly be able to offer more in the world of literature. These are some smart men in this book. And I'm not saying they're because they're in their book, but they're literally not because of the degrees that they have, but just their perspective on life and their heart and the compassion and the spirit in which they operate. Like, these are some really, really good men. And so for them to be able to thank me, one guy got teary-eyed. He posted on Facebook, Eric Hampton, about how he went to his mom's house. He stopped by his mom's house to see her, and she handed him a pen and asked him to sign the book. And he said it was such a moment for him.
Yeah, that would be. That, yeah.
Whoa, and so,
that would be.
And a girl that I work with here, she says, if anybody notices on the book, I have all of their names listed, not just mine. I just put orchestrated by. And then on the back, all of their pictures, and they're so handsome. I should have put them on the front. They're so cute. Can't really see it. It's so cute. Got some handsome men.
Yeah, somebody.
I said, y'all faces could have sold the book by itself. Wait a minute, I should have put y'all.
And that's probably why it reached to number one so quick, huh? Because of those pictures? No.
In 2 hours.
I could not believe it. I said, it's number one.
Glenn texts me because we're watching it like a political poll, trying to see who becomes president. Like, we're like, what's the numbers? What's the numbers? And he sent me, we went to number 3 within an hour. Within an hour, we were at number 3 of Christian men's category. Because every book is on Amazon, and you go notice, or any bookstore, you will see that there are certain categories. And so this is in one of the categories was Christian men. Mm-hmm. And when the hour was in 3, I was like, it must not be any books in Christian men category. I mean, queen of optimism, being pessimistic. Like, it must only be 7 books. And let me go look at these. What? How did that happen, right? And so when Glenn sent me the number, he sent me the screenshot that it hit number 1.
I couldn't believe it. I said, dang.
Tears.
You were just
ugly cry. Glenn called me immediately, and I'm just like, he's like, are you crying?
But you can't help it. You can't help it.
You can't. I have never birthed children before. I'm not a mom of people. I'm a mom of books. I said I don't birth babies. I birth books. And to see your baby have such an impact was like, it's almost like watching my baby win the Nobel Peace Prize, or something like that, or win the Olympics. Like, it was such a proud moment for me because I doubted it so many times. Like, oh, Jamie, oh God, I did. Oh God, I'm crazy for doing this. I shouldn't be doing but if somebody could have walked with me through the journey of creating this book, I shouldn't do it. It's not meant for me to do. I'm gonna just give it to Glenn. Tell Glenn to put all of these thoughts went through my head for 6 years, because there would be people who I'd asked to be a part of the book who were so eager to say yes, who bailed on me at the last minute, who, when we were getting ready to go to the next steps, and people who were gun-ho about it, that was like, no, I can't do it. I had grown men crying, telling me why they couldn't be in the book because they weren't ready, crying, big crocodile tears.
You're not ready to share it. Yeah.
They weren't ready to share. I said, I didn't even ask you to share nothing deep. I just, but they knew that those were the parts of them that they needed to share, but they just weren't ready to share it. And so there was a lot of frustration, and Glenn was always on me, like, write the book, get the book, Jamie, where's the man? Get the book. And I'm like, it's not finished. I kept saying it. It's not finished. It's not finished. But when God does a thing, and then getting the cover right was so different. It was so much. But I am Number one, I'm still amazed. I still have the screenshot. I said I'm gonna make a poster of it because I still can't believe that it happened. But
yeah, it was all over the internet, and I couldn't believe it either. I'm like, didn't it just come out?
Yeah, 2 hours ago.
I didn't know it was hours. I thought it was like 2 days, hours.
2 hours. It hit number one in 2 hours.
That is, see,
and so we're just under 200 sold. I think it's been out since January 2nd, and so and every day people are asking me where can they purchase. Jamie.
So it's barely been 2 weeks.
Yeah. So when you do what God tell, let this be for anybody listening to this now. Let me look straight into the camera when I say this, okay? When God tells you to do something, do it. You don't have to understand it. It can make no sense to your brain. It does not matter. Please know that He is going to send the people, the resources, and everything to make it happen. And when I tell you, when He tells you to do something, He already knows who He's calling it to do something for, who He's calling to. It's going to serve someone. And the way that not only men have been responding to this book, but the way women have been responding to this book brings my heart so much joy, because what I want is for us to be more understanding of each other. And I really use the word understanding because I'll never understand what it's like to be a man. I'll never understand that. But what I can do is have extended grace and compassion and patience and sensitivity in areas that I may not have had before because of the experience that I had, not only with my father, but also with the men in this book. And so I will forever be grateful to my brothers for sharing so much with me and with the world, because it has made me a better woman.
Wow. Talk about a testimony. Mm-hmm. And you preach a little bit too. I have just enough time for a few, and it doesn't matter about going over. Oh my gosh, I ain't took this yet. Okay, so the question is, first of all, you mentioned that you were once a victim, but now a survivor. Do you want to discuss that? You can say yes or no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I think that it is something that needs to be discussed whenever it needs to be discussed. Between my sophomore and junior year of high school, I was raped 3 times, gang raped twice, and almost killed. I say it as if it's nothing. Oh, it very much was something. But God has allowed my pain to become my purpose. And He took a place of misery to truly allow it to become my ministry. And I don't say that because the words rhyme or it's cliche. I mean it in reality. I remember after the 3rd rape, I had left out of the house, out of the apartment. I had snuck out the house to go to this party of this man I was dating. He invited me over. And when he left out to go get me something to drink, his roommates attacked me with 6 men in the room. And it was a very traumatic situation for me. And they threatened me and told me if I ever told anybody that they would not only kill me, but they would kill my mother. And I remember when I got out of the apartment that night, and mind you, there was a full-blown house party going on in the front of the apartment as I'm being brutalized. And so with men and women, mind you. And as I was leaving, people were like laughing at me, and it was just very.
They knew.
You had to know because of how I left out of there. You had to know. And so I remember being at this drain, and I used to go to this drain every year, and the water was going down like the sewer drain. And I remember hearing, if I had never heard the voice of God before, I heard it in this moment. And He said, "You lived through it." And I was so mad at God. Like, how dare you mock me at a time like this? Like, I was angry. I don't know how I got from that moment, that sewer, to my bed that night. Years passed. I am a youth leader at the church, and we're having youth night. Church is packed. It's like 300 or 400 young people, parents. It's like over the Christmas holiday. This boy I like was in the back. You know, just it was packed. And I was up because I was in my early 20s. I was talking about the power of a parent and children relationship, and how kids needed to listen to their parents, but parents also needed to listen to their children, because they had things they wanted to say. So I was trying to, because I was the young adult, I was able to talk to both audiences. And I remember this was the last time I ever did a speaking engagement with note cards. And I'm up there with my note cards, and I keep hearing this voice saying, "Tell it." And I'm like, whatever. No cards, no cards, tell it. No cards, no cards, tell it. It became so pertinent that I had to put the note cards down. And I said, parents, if you would open the door to be willing to listen to your children, then maybe I would have been willing to tell my mother that I have been raped 3 times.
Oh,
my mother sitting in the
right
front,
there.
My mother had no idea. She was sitting in the front row. Everybody looked at my mother, then they looked at me, and I looked at my mother, and I said, "I'm sorry, Mom." She had no idea. She also didn't know that after that I had been suicidal for many years after that. And so here I am on the stage of the church in front of all of my peers, parents, play parents. You know, you got your play moms in the church and all of that. And I am just spilling out what happened to me in these rapes. And I can't believe I'm saying it. And I'm like telling myself to shut up, but I can't because now I've opened the can of worms. So now, you know, if you see some worms, they just. So when I got done, I came down the stage and 3 young ladies walked up to me and said, "It happened to me. It happened to me. It happened to me." And I heard them say again, "You lived through it." And it was in that moment that God taught me why I lived through it. Because there were going to be other young women and young men who had been or currently going through, and they need to know how to deal with. And so God has blessed me in amazing ways. I've been able to travel as far as San Diego to Washington State to share with Amnesty International. I used to do this national program called Removing the Mask. And MASK was an acronym for mistakes, assumptions, scars, and the knots we tie ourselves up in. And so I would do this dramatic presentation with a mask and telling people that it's okay to take it off and allow people to know the things that you've been through. And so when I say erase the ignorance of sexual assault, I didn't grow up in the hood. I'm a suburbanite, truly. Didn't grow up in the hood. I wasn't in the gang. Didn't hang around drug dealers. All the stuff that they want to say. I wasn't a girl who was fast. I didn't walk around half naked. Like, you know, all of the things that people want to say. And the reality is that it can happen to any of us.
Absolutely.
Any of us at any time, anywhere. Business and corporate America with your uncles and cousins at any time. And so I really want people to be, one of my favorite speaking engagements was at Loyola University Graduate School of Psychologists. I used to go there every year and talk to the students who were getting ready to matriculate and go into various high schools and colleges and community centers. And I said, stop labeling girls fast.
Stop. Okay.
Stop labeling, oh, she just a floozy or she just loose. You have to figure out why she's doing that behavior. I said, because oftentimes when victims of sexual assault, after their assault, they become very hypersexual. And I said, because they hide from the pain of their assault. So they're just kind of all over the place.
Out there, yeah.
I said, so deal with your own biases of girls who are fast. Deal with them. Because she doesn't need to feel that energy when you enter the room, because the root may be because she's being touched at home. There's a lady that I know whose grandmother was her perpetrator. Grandmother. And when her grandmother died, she had mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Because the granddaughter wanted to be sad that her grandmother had died, but the victim was glad that her victimizer was no longer living. To talk about that mental dilemma that people all over this world, not just country, all over this world are dealing with on a daily basis, and how it's changing you. For many years, I thought that I couldn't find a man to love me. People wouldn't be able to see me different. People would see me different. I didn't think I had anything offered to the world but something sexual. I mean, it is something that forever stays with you. But the reason that I don't call myself a survivor, because that just means I didn't die. I call myself a thriver because it's a very intentional momentum that I have to not allow that to be the ending of my life, but to literally be the fuel, like the fuel that moves me. And I have to share this before, because I don't know if you have you want to move on, but I have to share this. There was several years after the last rape, I was at church and I was working camera, and it was in between services, and I had the camera in my hand, and I glaze over it. The lessons for the little girl, because I truly just glaze over it. Mm-hmm. But this man walks up to me, who was one of my perpetrators.
Oh my! I was wondering if you met. Go ahead.
He's walking towards me, and I have this camera in my head, and all I was thinking is bash him in the head with the camera, bash him in the head with the camera, right? And so, for dramatic effect, I'm going to do something. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, you saw how my face just got darker?
Mm-hmm.
I just turned the light off. Okay. So I'm standing there like this, and he walks up to me, and he was like, "Hi, Jamie, how are you?" And I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking at him like this.
Yeah.
Like, can I beat him in the church? And so he then says to me, I wonder if I'm not going to go into all the details, but he goes on and says, "You have no idea how bad our life was affected after we did that to you. We got kicked out of our apartment. This person lost their job." He's going on and on about how bad their life had gotten. And I looked at him and I said, "Your life."
Thank you. I'm like,
"Your life. How dare you?" You know? And he said to me, "And do you ever think that you could find it in your heart to forgive me?" And you have to look at me when this happened. As soon as he says these words, this is exactly what happened. There was a light that was above the cross at the baptism pool that came on and was burning beside of my face. And I looked at this light like, are you kidding me right now? Like who? What? Who's being punked? Ashton Kutcher, where are you? Truly on a TV show. How do this? This light is not on. All of a sudden it comes on over the cross. Are you serious? So I'm mad.
You know what that was telling you, right?
I'm mad, right? So I'm standing there, and it's like I describe it like this. It's literally like somebody waiting to jump into a rope of double dutch. Like he's standing there looking at me like this, waiting for my answer. Tears in his eyes. And I just did like this, and I kept doing like this for like what felt like an eternity. It was probably only 2 seconds. But then I said to him, if he can forgive me, who am I not to forgive you? And the man who raped me fell on top of me and started crying. I had to
he fell on top of you and started crying,
thanking me for my forgiveness. I had to put get this, people. Your life is not about you. I had to put my camera down and pray for the man who raped me. And in that moment, God taught me the power of forgiveness. My mom says that I don't have the gift of forgiveness like everybody else. Like mine is different. I literally can get over stuff. Jesus was in the grave 3 days. That's all I can have. 3 days. And then I have to get over it. And now it may take some time to heal, but I don't hold on to anything. If I can pray for the man who sexually brutalized me and threatened my life and the life of my mother, and when I let it go, I truly I let it go. Like it is, I'm not to say that I don't think about those moments of my life, but it does not have the hold on me that it used to have, because God did an amazing thing on that day. And so I truly give all glory to God about everything in my life, because that right there, you can't tell me what I can't do. What? Skydive? What? That ain't nothing. Pray for the man who raped you. Tell him you forgive him and mean it for real. Like that's nothing but God. Nothing but God.
That is nothing. That you know what? And it is. I can't believe our time is up already. It's already 7:00. There's something else I gotta ask you. One last question. I just keep saying that. Okay. One last question. You wrote a book, Sisterhood: The Sisterhood Journey of Women in Entrepreneurship. What are the one or two? What are the one or two takeaways for upcoming entrepreneurs?
This book is amazing. I actually did. This was a project that I did with another publishing company.
Okay.
Yes, I cheated on Glenn just for a minute, though. But I really felt led to this project because this was a book of women sharing their paths to entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And I always say that I'm entrepreneur-ish because I have basically 2 full-time jobs still, kind of. It's 1.5. I'm at work now doing this interview. But I know I want people to know that their journey to entrepreneurship doesn't have to look like everybody else's. And so my chapter is called The Perfect Path, and it is very much about learning your path, embracing your path to entrepreneurship. And so these women share. There's a woman who was once a madam in this book, and she talks about that life and how she housed girls who were in the sex industry, and how
she was an entrepreneur then.
Yeah, hello. But what she was, and how she got literally ministered to her, and she got in. So the things that she's doing now, you have women that are not only authors in this book, but business owners. I mean, just some super, super smart women are in this book, and just being able to be a part of this process. And it is a manual. Truly, each woman give tips about things that you need to do about discipline, sacrifice. It's an amazing venture, and I just want to thank Shebra Publishing for letting me date them for a few minutes to be able to be a part of this. It's truly an honor to be a part of this book. Miss Erica Perry Green, who is the publishing house over there. So thank those ladies for that too, and that's available on my website as well.
Okay, so just to wrap up, tell everyone where they can get your books and how they can reach you. I don't know if you're on Instagram or any other social media.
I'm on everything.
Okay, let them know how they can find you on everything.
Literally, as you see my name that appears on the screen, Jaime A. Gill, that's how I am everywhere. I am on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I am on Twitter, I am on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I am on, what's the other one, Snapchat, and it is, you can find me literally all by my name. My website is even JaimeAGill.com. So you can find me everywhere, just by my name. That's why your name speaks volumes about who you are. But I am open to coming to schools, to churches. I've done some of those things, and I truly love to do them. I want to try to get these resources, these books, to as many people as possible, just because I believe that it is life-changing and transforming opportunities. Not just for people to read the book, but to really engage with it and to write and process through the things, highlight in it. I want you. That's why I write books that you can write in them. Like we used to do our books in school, because I want you to walk away from the book a different person than when you first picked it up. So, yeah, that's me. I'm just a little girl trying to leave an impact on the world before I get out of here.
You are making your mark and serving and doing as well. And it has been such an honor to have you here. I'd love to have you again, because I know you have something else that you're in the process of writing or thinking about writing, and we can talk about that.
Girl 2 will be out soon, but
I knew.
I'm editing it right now. Actually tonight.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedule. I know you're at work. I know you don't have a lot of time, and we are out of time. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments too. My other guest, Miriam, she should be on within the next couple weeks, and I look forward to having her on here. And Jaime, Miss Gill, what can I say? The anointed, phenomenal woman of God. It has been my honor. Thank you.
Blessings. I can't wait to come back.
All right.
And then I'll have you on my show.
I can't wait.
Good night.
Good night.